You know that feeling when you scroll through endless listings of portable power stations. Picture a sleek box that promises to keep your fridge humming, your laptop charging, and your lights glowing, only to find out once you hook it up that it can't even handle a modest power drill without tripping. I've been there, and the frustration is real, especially when you're mid-camping trip, or the storm knocks out the grid, and the unit you bought barely lasts an hour on a tiny LED lamp. That's why I wanted to dig deeper before I hit buy now, and share what I learned about the Xantrex Statpower Prosine 1800. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the biggest question most people have is whether this thing can actually power the stuff you care about without turning into a paperweight. The Prosine 1800 delivers a true sine wave AC output, which means it produces clean, stable electricity just like the power you get from the wall. That matters a lot if you're planning to run sensitive equipment. Think a CPAP machine, a laptop with a fast charger, or a mini fridge. Those devices don't like the choppy, modified sine wave you get from cheaper inverters, because it can cause overheating, data loss, or just plain shutoffs. In real-world tests, that clean wave lets you plug in a portable TV and a Bluetooth speaker simultaneously, and watch a movie without any weird flickering or audio glitches. One feature that sets this model apart is the removable LCD display. Xantrex lets you mount the screen remotely, so you can keep the main unit tucked away in a cabinet or under a bench while still watching battery levels, load percentages, and power save mode status from a convenient spot. I tried mounting the display on a wall inside my RV, and it turned out to be a practical solution for keeping an eye on the power reserve while I'm cooking in the kitchen. It's a small touch, but in a cramped setup it saves you from constantly crawling over the unit to check numbers. Installation can be a pain with most power stations because the DC input ports are cramped, forcing you to wrestle with bulky connectors in tight corners. The Prosine 1800 solves that with 180-degree DC terminals. The connectors swing out, giving you room to snap in the cables without forcing the unit into an awkward position. When I wired it into a small shed where the battery bank sits against a concrete wall, the terminals let me route the positive lead over the top of the unit instead of forcing a sharp bend that could stress the wire. It's a simple design tweak, but it eliminates a common source of frustration for DIY installers. Power save mode is another practical perk. When the unit isn't supplying any load, it draws just 1.5 watts. That's negligible compared to many competitors that keep their internal electronics humming at 5-10 watts even when idle. If you're using the Prosine as a backup for a home office, that low standby draw means the battery stays at full charge longer, ready for the next outage. I ran a scenario where I left the unit on standby overnight while my house was still powered by the grid, and the battery loss was barely measurable. Now, who should actually consider buying this? If you're an RV owner who needs a reliable source for electronics, a camper who wants to run a fridge, a homeowner looking for a modest backup during occasional blackouts, or a workshop owner who needs clean power for delicate tools, the Prosine 1800 hits a sweet spot. Its 1800 watts of continuous output can handle a microwave, a small space heater, or a set of power tools for short bursts, and the true sine wave ensures those devices run smoothly. The 2-year warranty also adds a layer of confidence if you're wary about investing in a piece of equipment that sits in a corner most of the time. On the flip side, if you're hunting for a massive off-grid solution to power an entire house, or you need to run high-draw appliances like an electric dryer or a full-size air conditioner, this unit will fall short. The specs list 1800 watts continuous, but that rating doesn't tell the whole story about runtime. Because Xantrex doesn't publish the exact battery capacity in the listing, you have to calculate how long it will run based on the devices you plan to connect. In practice, a 1800-watt load will drain the battery in under an hour, while a modest 200-watt load might give you 3 to 4 hours. If you need days of autonomy without recharging, you'll be looking at a larger system. Weight is another practical consideration. The Prosine 1800 isn't a featherlight backpack-friendly unit. It's built solid enough to stay put in a vehicle or a workshop, which means you'll need a dolly or a sturdy handle to move it around. For those who plan to lug it from campsite to campsite on foot, the heft could become a nuisance. The price point reflects the quality of the sine wave inverter and the thoughtful design touches, so it's not the cheapest entry-level option on the market.